Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. Now, here are 5 takeaways why us Spurs fans should be excited about Roberto De Zerbi being the Tottenham Hotspur manager. Number 1, he finally gives Spurs a clear football identity. One of Tottenham's biggest problems since the departure of Mauricio Pochettino back in 2019 has constantly been changing styles and philosophies at the club. De Zerbi is one of the most tactically distinctive coaches in Europe. His teams are built around possession, aggressive passing, structured build-up play and attacking football. At both Brighton and Marseille, his sides developed recognisable patterns that made him difficult to play against and, most importantly, entertaining to watch. And that is, of course, music to our ears and very nice on the eye, and something we have been missing for a very long time, and something is also very important to us Spurs fans as well, because we want to be playing that Tottenham way. Spurs supporters have spent years asking for a long-term football identity rather than short-term fixes, and we've had a lot of them, especially in recent years since moving into the new stadium, and Roberto De Zerbi offers exactly that. Now, number 2, Roberto De Zerbi improves players everywhere he has worked, and perhaps this is one of his biggest strengths as a head coach. Now, Brighton players such as Matoma, Caicedo, McAllister, they all reach new levels under his coaching. His reputation across Europe is that of a manager who makes players better than simply demanding expensive signings at a football club. And I suppose that would be a huge plus to the football club as well. For a Tottenham Hotspur squad that still contains talent such as Mikey Moore, Lucas Bergvall, Archie Gray, that development-focused approach could be hugely important, and bringing players through the youth system as well. Now, number 3, and let's be frank and honest about it, Roberto De Zerbi turned up in a disaster and immediately improved results. He got 11 points from the 7 Premier League games that he managed at the end of the season. Of course, Spurs avoiding relegation. Now, whether people like this appointment or not, the early evidence is difficult to ignore. And as I said, let's be frank and honest about it, Tottenham were in serious relegation trouble when he arrived, and without Roberto De Zerbi, Spurs would have been relegated to the Championship. This means he is very capable of organising a struggling group quickly and get players buying into his ideas, even under the extreme pressure. So exciting times ahead for when he does get the players and the squad that he needs and wants. Now, number 4, it seems that the club is backing a long-term project. He has been given a 5-year contract at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Spurs have spent many years moving from one manager to another and their managerial ideas. The fact that Roberto De Zerbi signed a lengthy deal with no reported relegation escape clause was viewed by many as a signal that both sides see this as a rebuild rather than a rescue mission, just to get Spurs away from the relegation zone to remain in the Premier League for next season. With supporters tired of constant resets, this could be the first appointment since Mauricio Pochettino that genuinely feels built around a multi-year vision rather than immediate damage control. And number 5, his ceiling is much higher than a typical safe appointment. Many clubs in Tottenham's position would have chosen a defensive survival specialist. Instead, Spurs hired a coach who has previously led Brighton into Europe and earned a reputation as one of the best tactical managers in the game. Even rival supporters acknowledged that Tottenham were taking a bold swing rather than settling for pragmatism. The risk is obvious. De Zerbi's style can be demanding and sometimes volatile, but it does work. And when it does work, the upside is much greater than merely becoming a stable mid-table side. Tottenham are betting on a coach who has shown he can build teams that overperform their resources and play football that excites supporters. And that is exactly what we want. And lastly, what I would say is the biggest reason for being optimistic as a Tottenham Hotspur fan with Roberto De Zerbi in charge at Spurs. For the first time in a long while, Spurs seem to have hired a manager because of a football philosophy rather than just because he was simply available. That doesn't guarantee success. There are still questions about his recruitment, squad balance and De Zerbi's personality. Fan opinion remains divided, and that is very fair to say that. But if you're looking for reasons to be excited, they are easy to find. It is a defined style, proven player development, evidence of immediate improvement, of course, saving Spurs from relegation, long-term backing, and a manager. Those best teams have played some of the most entertaining football in Europe and in the Premier League.